Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh Shem El Shaddai Shem Kodash. Shalom to the hopeful elect out there. I'm going to entitle this video, The End of the World and the Rest Were Blinded. The end of the world and the rest were blinded. And what I mean by that is we, the Israelites, the one Westers, GMSs, the IUICs, the ISUPKs, the LOIs, the AOCs, the HODCs, the Sakari, I can go on and on with the different groups out there. And I've said in previous videos that the truth came out of One West. So these different splinter groups that stem from One West, we have the truth. We have differences, like between us, GMS, and IUIC. So I'll name some of the differences. The Sabbath, which they all teach, except for Sakari. Sakari goes by the new moon Sabbath, which is the right way of breaking it down. Not no damn Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. They got that from the small hats, and they set that up because Saturday goes to Saturn, the god of Saturn. That's a whole another subject I'm not going to get into. Maybe somebody else could do it. But you have the high holy days. All high holy days are based upon the new moons. All of them. All of them. All of them. So why would the Sabbath be any different? When they give you a list of the high holy days, the first day starts off with the Sabbath. And it says 6 days. 6 work shall be done 6 days, and the 7th of the Sabbath. Then it goes into the Passover. Why is the Passover second? Because it's the first high holy day or feast of the year, and it's based upon a new moon. All the Hanukkah, the Purim, anything that we do is based upon the new moon. So, that's a whole nother subject. So you guys that teach, you're saying, well, the Friday night is coming in, got to get ready for the Sabbath. You can't do nothing on the Sabbath. Or then you got guys teaching you have sex on the Sabbath. And these are some of the major camps that teach this. When that's a holy day. When you have sex, that's first of all, it's pleasure. And number 2, it makes you unclean on the Sabbath. And what do you normally do in the ancient world? And we're going to do this in the kingdom. On the Sabbath, we're going to, read from the Torah. We're going to have our so-called religious services in the kingdom. So we're going to honor the Sabbath every week, once a week. You got the moon cycle, the Passover. We're going to honor the Passover, and then we're going to have a new high holy day, which is in Jeremiah. It's either Jeremiah 14 and 16 or 16 and 14, where it speaks about a new celebration. We're going to celebrate the fact that this man's going down. It's going to be somewhat similar to the Egyptian captivity as Passover, because the Egyptian captivity was a major captivity. And this captivity, and by the way, that was so-called Egypt, which is Mizraim. And guess what? This is spiritual Egypt, which is spiritual Mizraim. So we were born as a nation in so-called Egypt. I'll use the Greek word Egypt. That's not the word. And if you're a scholar, you would know the difference. Christian roll up, and we speak about Egypt, and the Israelites, became a nation, grew as a nation, because it was a tribe, a family, a tribe. And it grew as a nation. In what captivity? They'll say Egypt. So I said, what does Egypt mean? What's the original name for Egypt? Who are the Egyptian people? They're not going to know unless there's trained scholars. They would know. They would say it. That's why it's important to understand, the meaning, the roots of words, which is called etymology and hermeneutics. Look those words up. Etymology and hermeneutics, which basically goes into the roots of words. Where did this word come from? You have English words. You have a word in English. I'm trying to think of a word. Okay, sabbatical. Sabbatical is an English word. Sabbatical means you take a break. What is it? How's it go after 7 years? It normally applies to school teachers, professors. They take a sabbatical. It's an English word, but what is the root of the word? The root of the word goes back to the Hebrew, which is Shabbat, which is the rest. That's what it means. They need it. If a teacher's been teaching for 20 years and he loves teaching, he needs a rest. He needs a recharge. So they give him a sabbatical. He takes a sabbatical. So that's one word in English that goes back to Hebrew roots. I'm trying to think of some other words in English. There's so many words, but Bible goes back to the word biblios, which means book. Like you have in the back of a book, a bibliography, which is a list of books. When you read a book, they give you sources, and they'll say A, B, C, or they give you numbers, and then you go to the back of the book, and it references the book that they got the information from. So that's another one. And English is a combination of German words, Latin words, and some Hebrew words, and so forth. So you gotta know, you gotta understand the etymology. So in other words, I'm giving you the foundation to build, to edify. Edify means to build. Edifice, it means to build. When people have a conversation or debate, they'll say it's a good build. Well, another word is edification. We built on something. But my point is this: get to the meat and potatoes of this thing. Is that none of these different groups, the so-called Black consciousness, those people, and the so-called Black church, you know what I mean by that. You got some Edomite churches that teach about the end of the world. I don't know of any so-called traditional Black Christian church that teach about the end of the world. They just don't do it. They don't go into the end of the world. I'd be surprised if you can give me one video where any Black church, Methodist, Baptist, Jehovah's Witness teaches about the end of the world, but they don't teach about the destruction of America. And none of them, if they do teach the end of the world, they're not going to mention, especially American churches, they're not going to mention Babylon being America. There's only a handful of so-called Edomites that would appear to be Edomites that would teach it. So that's a touchy subject, the end of the world. And the Most High gathered the prophets, and see, we are those individuals, if we stay with this thing and do it to the end, we were those individuals that were set up in previous lives. Reincarnation is biblical. If you cannot see that, then you're on a low level, and the Most High is really not dealing with you. Most High is not dealing with you. Now, every time the Most High sent prophets was for the downfall of a kingdom. The Most High sent prophets to Israel because the Most High spoke through the prophets saying, if you don't get yourself act together, you're going to be taken down by another nation. And it says Jeshurun wax fat and kick. That's in Deuteronomy 32. So They were doing good. They said, "What the hell you talking about? We gonna go down? This that weak ass nation over there. They gonna take us down? Are you out of your damn mind?" And they would look to kill the prophets. Even the Lord spoke about that. "O Jerusalem that killeth the prophets." I'm merely paraphrasing. I think I quoted correctly or exactly. But the reason why you see so many Israel, not enough Israelite groups. The field is white, ready to harvest, but the laborers are few. We went out there Saturday. It was a very seasonable. It was May. It was a nice 72, 75 degrees. It wasn't too hot. It was just right. A nice spring day. Nice, pleasant spring day. No, not a cloud in the sky. You know what I mean. Basically, you look up in the sky and you see blue. You might see a straight cloud over there, or over, over on the west and over in the east or whatever. But it was a nice day. Now I don't know, but I don't think a whole bunch of camps from the various different One West camps went out there. Now you got these newer guys that came up through splinter groups of the One West that might have went out there. But like I've been saying, I said there should be. I always use it. Always use the term 1,000,001, meaning there should be camps all over the place. You know, like I'm gonna use the word infestation. When you have a roach or a bug in your house, that's one thing. You get a roach motel or some Raid or whatever. You spray over here. You do this. You do that. Get rid of the roach. Couple of roaches. But if it's not checked, you leave food out, and to draw the roaches. It becomes an infestation. And there's roaches. You open up a cabinet and there's 1,000,000 roaches up in there, and you fucking freak out. And you can't do nothing. You're gonna kill some of them and that's it. You're gonna stomp some of them out. So what you got to do is you got to get a bomb or 2 bombs, and you put the bomb in there. If it's like in the kitchen, you close off the kitchen, you put the bomb up, and then you leave the house. You leave the house for about an hour, and then when you come back, you see a whole like a nuclear bomb and hit that motherfucker, and you see all the motherfucking roaches all laid out dead. And you get a broom and you sweep all the roaches up. So that's the way we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be an infestation to this nation. That's the topic. We ought to be an infestation to this nation, meaning the nation of Esau, this place. Not a lot of you are pushed on a maximum overdrive with this thing. You're supposed to be doing videos every day. You're supposed to, if the spirit's on, you're supposed to be doing 2 or 3 videos every day. Anything less than that we're questioning you, man. We can rest all day tomorrow. We're supposed to be in maximum overdrive when it comes to this truth. And we are to a certain degree. That's why you got vocab. See, vocab is like a measuring stick for the Israelites. What are the main groups he gets on? IUIC, ISUPK, GMS, Sakari, and then you got other groups out there. But the main groups that he gets on is those groups right there, because they're putting in work. We don't have all the same, we're not all on the same page, but they are pushing the fact that we're Israelites and that the kingdom is coming, that you guys are Edomites. You got certain guys that Jakes, which are clearly spies, they're agents, they're infiltrators. They're paid by Esau to teach. They'll teach, well, you guys are not Israelites, and the white man is not Edomites. Come on, man. If you did the study with an open mind and sincere, you would clearly see. High Priest Ariel used to say, you figure out things in the scriptures through a process of elimination. So when you deal with Esau, you may start off with Genesis. What is that? Genesis 25:19. It's red. Oh, well, that doesn't mean red. It's a dark-skinned person. And da, da, da. Look, I did a video years ago. This had to be way more than, this had to be like 10, 12 years ago. And it was on E. And back then, YouTube, you had like a 10-minute slot. You could only do a 10-minute video, then you could do another video, another 10-minute part one, part two, part three, right? So when I put that video up, part three was all kind of, I got to the part where it's speaking about all over like a hairy garment, right? Then I went to the fill the neck and the arms of Esau, meaning hairy, very very hairy. And I gave about, put up about 10 pictures of Edomites with the shirts off, and they were super. They looked like bears. And every time I went to part three, they take it down. And that's back when they weren't taking videos down. You can say pretty much every time I went to part, and they wouldn't give me a strike or nothing. They would just take it down. So I put it up again. Part one, part two went through. Part three, when them, boom, they took it down. They took it down maybe 3 times. Three different times I put it up 3 different times, because you know what? They know who they are. So they're covering up that fact, that truth, that they are the Edomites. And again, they paying Jake out there. Any Jake that says that's a prominent guy, he's up there. You know, he's got a kind of got a following. If he's teaching that we're not the Israelites, and the so-called white man are not Edomites, you right then a flag should go up in your head. This man's a sellout. He getting the check. He's set up. You know, he's an infiltrator. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that he is. If a guy says, "No, I'm not getting nothing from," well, I'm not talking about you. But anyway, let's get back on track. Okay, so I put in the end of the world, simple enough. But when I'm reading, I read the first precept and the second precept, and the first precept, Psalms 19, the 19th chapter and 4th verse, and the second precept is Isaiah 62 verse 11. They have nothing to do with the so-called end, when the destruction comes, and you know, Esau is the end of the world, Jacob is the big. It's not talking about that. So I wasn't looking. When I put the end of the world, I didn't want that. But guess what? It changed my direction. The end of the world means on the other side of the world. Sometimes it means the end of an age, like Matthew 24, but sometimes it means the other end, directionally, the other end of the earth, or the uttermost part of the earth. So I was thinking, which we all know, I said I got to do a video on this, and then like I always say, this thing is not going to come until the MOTB takes place. So you brothers that's thinking, oh no, we could be out of here in another 2 months, and you know Russia's building up, and that war is escalating, and you know America might, and NATO might be involved, and we're good brothers and sisters, we're gonna be out of here. No, you're not gonna be out of here. Something major's got to happen, which is the MOTB. Which for the record, when that comes out, let's see what these other major former One West is going to say about it, because they're going to be questioned. That's going to be the question. They're going to be coming up there, and because a lot of them are window shopping over here at GMS. Okay, so let me kick my feet back. So that's going to be questioned. Sabak, pre-Sabak, shalom to that brother. Love that brother, for the record. But he doesn't have the whole truth. If he's still out there, wherever he's at, you're going to have every week, brother, you're going to have 3 and 4 people coming up asking you about the Charagma, and whether we should take it, and what is it all about. Because I watched the GMS video, and then, but now they might be a damn chip. I don't know how they're going to set it up. I can't tell you exactly how they're going to set it up. This is how prophecy works. They knew, the high priest and the priest behind him, where I'm changing gears, shifting gears. Alexander saw the priest come, and he saw the head priest in white, and I forget what one of the kings, a Syrian king or one of the kings. I haven't gone through that story in years. And the guy said, "You're supposed to take them down." He said, "I can't take these people down." He said, this is the priest that I saw in my dream, you know. And he got basically when Alexander took over Israel, he took over the kingdoms and set up provinces. You know what he was doing to Israel? He was kissing their asses. He was he wasn't. He said, "I'm not going to tax these people." It was Antiochus that did all that shit. Alexander didn't do that. Alexander the Greek, he didn't tax them, and he kissed their asses because he saw they was a spiritual people. And I believe it was the high priest, and I got to do another video on that. There's always subjects out there that if you go into the documents, into the history, the ancient writings, that and Josephus, I believe it's also in Josephus, that this high priest Alexander said, "Oh, I saw you in a dream. You know, the Most High showed me that the Lord is dealing with you." And by the way, not Socrates, but what was the other guy? You got Socrates, you got I believe it was Aristotle. It wasn't Socrates, it was the second guy. When you mentioned Socrates, I think it was Aristotle that raised up Alexander. He educated him. And Aristotle, Socrates, the seven sages, they were Israelites, which they, whitewashed as being all Edomites. They were all Israelites. And as a child, he was raised up as he was tutored by, if I'm not mistaken, it was Aristotle, it wasn't Socrates. I mean, go into the history. I'm not going to do that for you. You do your own homework. And he knew how to speak. He knew how to read and write and speak Hebrew. I'm talking about Alexander. And he studied the Israelites. He knew that they were spiritual people from the Most High because the high priest showed him in the scriptures in Daniel, Daniel 8, Daniel 7, Daniel 2. He showed him, those are the main scriptures that cover Alexander. And it's also mentioned in Maccabees. It mentions Alexander, mentions his father's name. His father is, Alexander's father is Philip of Macedonia, which is Macedon was inhabited by the Etruscans, the sons of Japhet. So Esau further migrated and took down by war he pushed those Japhetics out. That's why you got certain groups say the white man is the sons of Japhet, which they're not the sons of Japhet. Sons of Japhet are dark people. So the high priest showed him who he was. He would see the he goat and the he goat in Daniel 8. That's you. It says here the king of Greca, right? That's you. So he showed him that. So that's why he said, "Man, I said I'm not gonna mess with these people. I'm gonna kiss their asses. I'm not gonna tax them," because he feared us. So really, if you want to get technical, Alexander wasn't really such a bad guy, although he was a Mo, because that was his nature. He said that was the nature of Esau. But anyway, let me get back into this. I went off in a tangent on something else. But anyway, this right here, the end of the world, doesn't necessarily mean the end of an age, meaning the missile's going to come. Sometimes it means the end of a location. You're on a football field. It's 100 yards. You're on one end. Your goal is to get to the other end, right? So the earth is the same way. So let me just read these precepts. It said, "Their line is gone." I really should start from the first verse. their line is going out through all the earth. So when did this happen? This happened when we got on YouTube in 2007, July. GMS got on the first video that GMS put out, because I believe it was a year and a half, 2 years later, that Adiala made a statement. He said GMS has gone global. And I remember that because we had people from other parts of the planet that was watching us. And they had this one Chinese video, and they had me speaking, and they dubbed the Chinese guy's voice over it, and they had lightning, thunder playing in the background. And they had me looking, it was funny as hell, man. So I said, well, China, there's Moabites out there that actually saw me speaking. So we became global a long time ago. And so if we were global back then in 08, 09, we're really global. You'd be surprised how many people, watch us. And if you come across an IUIC video, you're going to come across a GMS, because they're going to talk about GMS. Well, what's this GMS? Let me look at this GMS, these GMS guys. Then they'll see certain things and they'll realize that, they're different on this. And that's why when we get on IUIC, we get on them. And none of you brothers should do like the GMS that the IUIC group did, with the GMS member left his wife barefoot and pregnant. And right after they say that, they'll tell you to keep the law. And then they'll falsely accuse. Because we got the report of the woman. The man is still with that woman. And she went off. She had no business going up to them, listening to them, and she was kind of agreeing with them. And the best thing to do is when you get a woman, don't tell her anything about Israel. Just if she said, well, what do you do? What you all about? Tell them I'm Joe and you can't know. Or I'm Joe and I just don't know. What do you think of them Israelites? I'm Joe and I just don't know. Don't be, look, I'm telling you based upon experience. You telling them that they're Israelite is the worst thing that you can do. Now, if she's open, you might throw it at her. You might throw a line, see how she reacts to it. Or there's one chick that I used to deal with. She found out that I was an Israelite because we went over to Joshua. We had like a double date thing. So we went over to Yashawan's house, old school Yashawan from Brooklyn. And so, he pulled out an album, he's showing the sister the album, different pictures. And then the pictures came up with us out there on the highways and the byways. So her eyes then popped open. Her eyes went to bucking. And then she didn't say nothing. And then we left and she said, you a part of them black Hebrew Israelites? I said, yes, I am. And she said, how can you be a part of that cult? How can you follow? I said, look, I'm one of the leaders. I'm not a follower. And then she said, I was downtown. I believe it was Hoyt. What was it? Hoyt and was it Fulton and Hoyt? Fulton and Hoyt. They had a big. I was a wild ass camp, and she was out there listening, and I guess they cursed out the Edomite woman, made the Edomite woman kiss their boots and all that. And then right then when she saw that, she said, this is hard. This is disgusting. She said, I made a promise to myself I would never deal with an Israelite. And here I am with you. And then she said, do me a favor, just pull over and just let me out the car. So I said, well, I guess, and like Richard Pryor said, time to find some new pee. Oh, well, it's time to find some new pee. But she called me back and, she kind of thought about it. Well, she went to a diner and she had some black coffee. She had fucked her head up. And but she called back and we got back together. But that's just a little story. Let me get back into this. I gave you these stories. But that's showing you that there's a lot of people out there that know who we are. When I used to be on, I don't hardly ever go. I try my best not to ever go on the NYC train system. That's a hellhole right there. But when I used to going to trains a lot. And this was back in like, maybe 2009, 2010, even as early as 2008. There will people be looking at you, and then they'll come up and say, "Yo, Tahar, you be on, y'all be watching you. Oh, shalom." We have that that happens all the time. But anyway, let me get back into this. So let me read this precept. Their line is going out through all the earth. So what was the vehicle that made us go throughout the whole earth? The YouTube. Hey, people became multimillionaires on YouTube, man. Every major television station, every major cable station, television station, your basic, your channel 2s, your channel 4s, your channel 5, your channel 7, your ABC, your CBS, your NBCs, your Fox News, every last one of them got a YouTube page. And guess what? When you go and find out when you go to about and you find out when they set up, it was not sometimes 2006, 2007, and 2008. So they got in from the bottom. See, when you invest in something, you see something that might make, like, okay, the smartphone industry. If you had invested into the smartphone like Nokia from the very beginning, you'd be a multimillionaire. If you invested when McDonald's had a few little stores here and there, it was big in the West Coast, it started coming to the East Coast. And that's back when the burgers were good, when the food was actually good. It was like a non-GMO type of food. To get into the stock, it was next to nothing. So I don't know what the stock is now, but say you put in so many couple $1,000s in the stock for your children or your grandchildren. They kept that stock, and then you find out you're a multimillionaire. So people, hey, you multimillionaires, and that includes Israel too. Not us. Definitely not us. We're bums, and we like being bums. we like being bums. But like I said, these major TV stations and these cable stations, they all got the Food Network. They got a YouTube page. And then the various different shows of the various different channels, they got YouTube pages. Showtime, HBO, Showtime Boxing, ESPN, they all got YouTube channels. Because they knew on the bottom, let's start at the bottom. So we started at the bottom. And now we're here. So I had to throw that in there. They said their line is gone out through all the earth. What if there was no internet? There's a reason why when you go to internet, it'll say www, right? www means World Wide Web. And it's set up as a network, a web. That's why I can do a video right now, put it up, and somebody in Russia can watch it, or somebody in China can watch it, or Australia. Shalom to GMS Australia, GMS, the various brothers out there in Africa, around the world, around the country. Shalom to y'all. Keep this thing up, man. GMS is an action camp. You want to be a part of GMS, you better develop them muscles, man. Them spiritual muscles. And you got to be on point. You got to constantly be, don't take no breaks. No coffee breaks, man. Maximum overdrive. We or the Most High settles for nothing less than maximum overdrive. I might do 3 videos in one day and said, nah, I ain't really did nothing. That's also in the scriptures. The reasonable service, right? So it says their line is going out through all the earth. By what vehicle? The World Wide Web. So who set up the World Wide Web? The Most High. Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai set it up. I was reading the quote I was looking for, and it came up. Jay Rockefeller, he was a senator of, I believe, Virginia, or one of them, either Virginia, I believe it was Virginia. He was one of the Rockefellers, and he made a statement some years ago. Somebody could put up in the comment section, or over here. He said The internet should have never been invented, or something to that effect. And why did he say that? Because they can't keep up. They can't keep up with all the internet. The YouTube is the wild, wild west. You can't keep up with this. There's man, the whole man. You got TikTok. You got you got all these other. You got what is this? Rumble. You got Odyssey. You got all these other different. We was big on Daily Motion. All right. So that's how the line went out throughout the whole earth, meaning the globe. GMS became global, and then IUIC became global, and IUCBK became global. They all became global, man. Global. It said their line is going out through all the earth, and their words. Whose words? The prophets' words. Where did they get the words from? They got it from the scriptures. So we make a statement and we go into the scriptures. That's why when if you got to get on the IUIC or any other group, get on them because they're going off on the scripture. Not no personal, just get on them because they going off on the scriptures. All right? Like the new moon or the full moon, we do videos on it because they're going off. So it's our job to defend that, not stay in our lane. Oh, the Israelite groups got to stay in their lane. So if you're teaching that Edomites can make it, I'm supposed to shut the fuck up? If you allow women to be teachers, okay, the next sister, she's going to come up and she's going to teach this class, I'm supposed to stay in my fucking lane? So if you're going to get on IUIC, get on them. Don't do like they do. Don't do like they do. Because they're slanderers, man. Or they're teaching a new thing called hell, that you're going to burn in hell. The lake of fire is hell. That was never taught in One West. They had Yeshaya teach it, but Yeshaya, he fell out the truth. It says their line is going throughout all the earth, and their words to the what? End of the world. Meaning what? To the other side of the world. And why did it have to go to the other side of the world? Because we are on the other side of the world. Where was this written? Where was this psalm written? In the Middle East, in Palestine. Either by Psalms, either by David or one of the other men. Most of them are written by David, which are songs. Which David was not just a king, he was a prophet. He was a prophet and a warrior king and a prophet. Matter of fact, you know what I'm gonna do? Let me see who wrote this. Oh, David. The heavens declare, and this is a song, you got to sing it in the Hebrew. The heavens declare the glory of the Most High, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day utter his speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. What is he talking about right here? He's talking about the World Wide Web. He's talking about YouTube. He's talking about Rumble. He's talking about Odyssey. He's talking about TikTok. He's talking about anything that we push out there on the internet. Facebook, this, that, and the third. Twitter, Facebook. So David prophesied the World Wide Web. There is no speech, no language where their voice is not heard. Meaning you got some brothers from GMS that are outside of the country. You got brothers in Italy. You got brothers in Shalom to y'all. You got brothers in Germany. You got people out there in Russia, man. One of the main brothers, beautiful brother, beloved brother, Barak out of LA. Shalom to y'all out there in the West, the uttermost West. He first saw our videos when he was stationed in Japan. And that's all he used to do. Practice martial arts and watch the videos. All right? And he's one of the top teachers out there. A beautiful brother. And when he comes through, he comes through bearing gifts. The same with Gabar Howard out of Hawaii. When he comes, and the other brother, I forget his name, his partner, his sidekick, so to speak, he came out a couple of times, and they always come bringing gifts. You know, either like a expensive bottle of liquor, a ukulele. One time he brought here's a ukulele. So it says, third verse, there is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Anywhere there's an internet, you got access to a YouTube video. Their line is going out through all the earth because the earth is pretty much wired up for the internet. And their words, whose words? The prophet's words, to the end of the world, to the other end of the world. What's on the other end of the world? The uttermost west. Because where are the Israelites? They're on the uttermost side of the earth, but they're also scattered all over the place. You see all these immigrants coming up here. We call them illegal aliens. And they got to process them now because the Statue of Liberty says, give us your poor, your tired, yearning to be free. So that's what they're coming in the name of. If they would turn them back, that would show that America's a hypocritical nation, which they are hypocritical, but they can't, they can't, the whole world sees that. They say, see, you a bunch of damn hypocrites. You let them white people come in and turn the century, but you ain't letting dark brown people come in. So now, and then what's happening all behind that whole thing, they're taking the children and they're taking the children from their parents and they're selling them in the open market. A lot of them are into the sex industry. They're having sex with these little kids behind the scenes and they take them around the world. This man is truly the devil, man. And see, Vocab Malone will never knock anything that Esau does. The only people that he goes against are the Israelites because he's the devil. He's set up. He's Satan. And you're losing Satan. I beheld Satan fall like lightning to the earth. It said their line is gone out to all the earth and their words the end of the world. What's the end of the world? The uttermost west. Canada, the U.S., Central America, and South America. That's where the Israelites are, all scattered. The Latin tribes, when Christopher Columbus came over here, those were Israelites. Those were the northern kingdom. The southern kingdom came later. Not too much time. The southern kingdom started being forced over here in the 1500s. So that was around the time of Christopher Columbus, the early 1500s, they started coming over here. So, they started coming over here in 1600s and seven. No, they started coming over here in the early 1500s. A lot of them Simeonites are really Judah, Benjamin, Levi, mixed with some of the so-called Latino tribes or the indigenous people. We are the Israelites. The 12 tribes are all back together. So it says their line is going out through all the earth, the whole earth, and their words through the internet, through YouTube, to the end of the world. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun. Tabernacle is anything that it could be a tent, it could be a structure, it could be like, you have like if you own a house and you got a tool shed, you build like a little house and you put your tools in there, that's a tabernacle. It's not, a tabernacle is not a house. A tabernacle is like a place that you build to store things in. So what is that tabernacle talking about? It's talking about the satellite in the sky. When you see them, you look at a satellite in the sky. If you get a close-up of it, you get pictures of it, you go on Google, they have solar panels on them, right? Why do they have solar panels on them? Because their power is from the sun. So what is the tabernacle? The tabernacle is the satellite. What does it mean to saddle something? To make sure something secure, right? to fasten, right? A tabernacle for the sun. So what are they securing? They're securing the light and the power of the sun. Solar energy keeps those tabernacles up in the sky going. So how is this signal pushed throughout the whole earth? Through networks, through that tabernacle. And so, which is as a bridegroom coming out of the chamber and rejoicing as a strong man to run a race. His going forth is from the end of the heaven, meaning the inner heaven, our heaven, under the ozone layer, under the firmament, and his circuit onto the ends of the earth, the other end of the earth. So this is a circuit. And there is nothing hid from the heat thereof. The law of Yahweh is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of Yahweh is sure, making wise the simple. So how do we make wise the simple? When we teach them this truth. Whatever you was doing, you come into this. A lot of y'all was doing stupid things. Like you think back of what you was doing. I can't believe I was doing that shit. That stupid shit. I can't believe I was doing that silly shit. I can't believe I was that way. Because the scriptures speak about coming in here as a new creature. A lot of you niggas come in there with your niggerism. You come in here with your niggerism, the Most High gonna kick you right out the door. You become a new creature. You a nigga that don't want to help nobody, you tight with your money. When you come into this truth, you got to be loose with your money. If you know a brother is a particular jam, he might feel embarrassed about asking you for money. Look, if you need, don't, and the same thing as this. Don't say, well, I'm gonna use a brother's kindness and I'm gonna use his ass. No, if you in the jam, you help, ask a brother help you and so forth, and you move on. And then you might be in a situation where you got to help him. Hey, look, anytime any of them brothers that I'm always around when we're speaking, the apostles, and if they say, well, look, I need here, brother, no problem. Oh, let me go to the bank. And I never lend money. I said, look, brother, pay me the money back. I give them the money. I say, here, brother, that's for you. Well, no, that's for you. All right. If anything, we'll say, well, if you got it, pay it back. If you don't worry about it. That's true brotherhood, man. And we got plenty of brothers that can attest to that. All right. So this is the main thing I wanted to get, right? So the end of the world is talking about the other end of the earth. So this word, this prophecy, this is a prophecy, by the way. This prophecy has to be fulfilled in order for us to get out of here. So we have to be on the other side of the earth. Columbus had to come to the other side of the world, the new world. Columbus had to take 500 Indians and bring them over to Spain. There's more Israelites in Spain than any place in Europe. Israel's all over the place, and we look like every goddamn body. So when somebody roll up, he look like an Edomite, you gotta qualify whether he's an Edomite. That's why we see it. Somebody look like an Edomite. He said he appears to be an Edomite because he might be a Jake. It only takes 2 generations to take a super dark black, so-called black man. It takes 2 generations for the grandkid to come back looking like Leave It to Beaver. Let's read the next precept. It says, Isaiah 62, verse 11. Behold, the Lord Yahweh hath proclaimed unto the end of the world. How has he proclaimed unto the end of the world? Through his prophets. Say ye to the daughter. Now, the word daughter, if you see the word daughter singular, it's talking about the Israelites, the men and the women. If it says daughters, it's talking about the women. Sometimes, if you see the word daughters, it's also talking about Israelite men and women. But if you see the word daughter of Zion, it's talking about the Israelite men and women. What is that? Jeremiah, I believe that's 6:2. that the Lord compares Israel to a beautiful woman. I'm not going to go to it. Calmly and beautiful woman, because we're the nation, the sons of Israel are brides, and our Lord is going to come get us as a bridegroom. So it says, the end of the world, say ye to the daughter of Zion, which are the Israelites, behold, thy salvation cometh. And there was a cry made, Matthew 25. So when we come out, what are we telling you? We're telling you that you're Israelites, you know, this man is Edomites, this man is Ishmaelites, you know, the Sabbath comes on this day, whatever we say. It's all about teaching Israel so that they can, the men, so that they can come in, the women, but so the men can come in and become teachers. We teach to create other teachers. We lead to create other leaders. So it says, behold, the Lord Yahweh hath proclaimed unto the end of the world, or the end of the earth, say ye to the daughter of Zion, to the Israelites. So if we never came to the other side of the earth, the Most High couldn't deliver us. He's not going to deliver us on the east side of the earth. He's going to deliver us when we're on the west side of the earth. And he's going to be delivering the elect from all around the world. Behold, thy salvation cometh. Behold, there was a cry made. Behold, thy salvation cometh. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. I'm going to read the rest of these and I'm going to close. Okay, now it jumps to the New Testament. It says, Matthew 13, verse 39, the enemy that sold them is the devil, which is the spiritual counterpart, the physical counterpart of spiritual demon Satan, which is, we call the white man Esau, talking about the elite. The average Edomite that you walk up and down and talk to, these Christians that pop up, they don't know what's going on. They don't know the deal. That's why they're trying to fit in. They're trying to get one scripture, or the Gentiles. See, we're the Gentiles, so we can get up in this thing. And the one guy rolled up on the battle axes in Yahweh Shai, whatever the group named battle axes. And they were getting down. Them battle axes brothers, they were on point. All praises to them brothers. And the Edomite came up. Now that guy could have been a Jake. So what you should have said was, if you could be an Israelite, you better hope you're an Israelite. I always say that. You appear to be an Edomite. So I might say, well, what's your background? You know, where your people come from? You might say, well, they're Scottish, Irish. So that's a flag that goes up, white flag, black flag, whatever, red flag. So you might say, well, there's Israelites scattered among the Scottish and the Irish, and even in England. The Saxons. A lot of the Saxons were started by Jake. So you got a lot of our people that look just like Edomites, but are in fact Israelites. And you got a lot of our people that look just like Israelites that are in fact Edomites or of other nations. So it says, the enemy that soweth them is the devil, because this is going into the tares and the wheat. The harvest is the end of the world. Revelation 14 talks about the harvest. So this is talking about the end of the age. The word world here is the end of the age. It says age meaning the rulership. You had the Egyptian rulership, you had the Babylonian rulership over Jake, which was 70, not even 70 years. Then you had got this rulership of this man, Revelation 20, and the little season in Revelation 20 is referring to the time that Christopher Columbus came to the Americas. during the time of the Renaissance up until now. So that little season is about 500 years. So that's their world, the end of their world, or the end of their rulership. And the reapers are the angels. Now it jumps to the 49th verse. So shall it be at the end of the world. So what did the Lord mean? Matter of fact, I'm gonna prove that to you. The word in the Hebrew should be eon, or Greek should be eon. Let's see if I'm correct. Not cosmos, not oikoumene. A Christian say, well, God so loved the world. Yeah, but if you check the root of the word, the etymology, you would know that it's talking about a particular group of people. See? G165. The word there is, let me let you hear it. We say ion. Let's see how this guy says.
G165.
Ion. Forever. That's, well, in our kingdom is going to be an ion, a world. Scriptures say world without end, right? It says an unbroken age, perpetuity of time, eternity, the world's universe, period of time, age. That's what it means. It means period of time. The Romans ruled for a period of, the pagan Romans ruled for a period of time. This current Esau system is going to rule for a period of time, that little season. Right. It says right here, Matthew 12, verse 32. It says, "To not be forgiven neither in this world or this age, neither in the age to come." So I knew, you go through these scriptures, you go through the root words, apply etymology and hermeneutics. You go into the words and you get an understanding. Now, the average Christian don't know that. They come across the word world, and it all means the same thing to them. I'm almost done. So shall it be at the end of the what? Age, eon, eon. The angels shall come forth. That's talking about, that's Revelation, that's Daniel 12, that's Revelation 12. There's so many precepts. That's Second Ezra 13, and sever the wicked from among the just. Malachi 1, tell you who the wicked are. The just are Israel. The just shall live by faith, not by keeping the law. You come into this thing by faith, not by keeping the law. When you become rooted, then you begin to keep the laws. You might have a guy come in there, he might have a smooth face because he's working as a security guard or whatever. So you can't, look, brother, shave your, you got to let him take time. We don't know if he's gonna come in. Then he's in this thing. Then his conscience bothers him. He said, "Man, I'm gonna get a letter, and I'm gonna say, because of my religious beliefs, I have to have a beard." And you can sue them, actually. And if they say no for some reason, you don't want to go through the trouble, you said, "Fuck it, I'm leaving the job." You take your time. It might take you a month to find another job. You can have a beard. Job might be paying you good. It might be a better blessing. And then you grow a beard. You don't just say, "Okay, brother, you believe you're Israelite. Tomorrow, you better go put some fringes on. You better leave your wife, because if she's not, you better ask her, you an Israelite?" No, what do you mean? I don't know that. I'm not with you no more, because I'm down with the IUIC. I'm going to give you 6 months, bitch. And that's what they teach. They're going off. That's why we get on them, because they're going off. When I spoke to so-called Bishop Nathaniel on the phone, he said, "What am I doing wrong?" And I said, "Man, look, I'm not going off on the Cornelius thing. There's so many things you were going off on, the shit that you did in the past, talking about where am I going off on." I said, man, you know what, man, put Ricard back on the phone. I don't want to talk to you. We can set up a meeting. You got to watch a guy that's in the Godfather. He said the guy that sets up the meeting, he said he's going to supply security. That's the guy that's going to get you. So when he said we're going to set up a meeting, I thought about the Godfather, man. So ain't not going to have no meeting with the devil. Interview with the devil. It says Matthew 24, verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privily, saying, tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? So what does it mean by the end of the world? See, vocab says, oh, the end of the world is talking about the whole planet Earth is just going to blow up. Well, how do you explain Ecclesiastes 1? The earth abideth forever. How do you explain that? Because he doesn't know the script. Vocab is clueless when it comes to the prophecies. He's completely clueless. The end of the world is talking about the end of the rulership of this man. That's why they thought that, okay, you coming back to since you rose from the dead in Acts 1. So now you coming back, you want to take this man down. No, I'm not coming back to take this man down. Yeah, but you said, you know, you're going to come in the end of the world, the end of this age, the end of this man's rulership. They didn't understand there was a second leg to this rulership. Revelation chapter 13. We always go through that. The deadly wound was healed. The deadly wound was healed and came back into power. That's the second leg of this man's eon. So it was a two-part rulership. They were taken out for 1,000 years, a little bit more than that, and now they're in their last 500 years, a little season. It says, teaching them to observe all things whithersoever I have commanded you, and lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. The end of the world is talking about the end of this second rulership of Esau, the end of the second leg of the Roman Empire. For then must he often be suffered since the foundation of the world. Now, this right here is a cut to you guys that turn your back on the plow. The Lord ain't coming back to die on the cross, so your ass can come back in the truth. Anybody that turns your back on this truth, you know, you made a conscious decision, you ain't dealing with this no more, or you got some chick that you done knocked up, and she talked you into buying a house, and them fucking rates just shot up, and she lost her job, and it's on you now to keep that house going. So you got to get 2-3 jobs. So that's that. Pray me, I be excused. That's in Luke. And with one consent, they began to make excuse. So you had to take 20 years off or 10 years off to be with that woman, and then the woman leaves you for another man because she was never in the truth any damn way. And so now you ain't got this woman, you know, so your thing is, well, let me come back around them guys, you know, around the camp. Most High's not gonna let you back in. Because you put a woman before the Most High. Apostle Paul said that you all have the same diligence, that you all be on fire. If I'm doing a video a day, everybody in GMS should be doing the video a day. If I do 2 videos a day, everybody in GMS should be doing 2 videos a day. And I'm not saying you have to do a video every day, but you have to be consistent. If a guy doesn't do a video, his main page, he didn't do a video in 2 months, there's a major problem. He better be dead, he better be locked up, or he better be in a motherfucking coma. Because if you conscious, you better be doing videos, and you better be out there on the highways and the byways. Yeah, but see, Tahar, see, you telling guys what to do. You goddamn right I'm telling guys what to do. You damn right. You damn Skippy, I'm telling them what to do because they're in the camp. You ain't going to come in the camp and do what the fuck you want to do. And that's how it was back in One West. One West is like a church. People just come when they want to come, you know. The Spirit got on me to all these multiple camps that we used to have, the Spirit got on me. The Spirit got on me to set up multiple camps. We used to, on Saturdays, we used to be on 34th Street, and that's Ariel would be there. I would always be talking on the side with Ariel. And I said, High Priest Ariel, I said, why don't we got a lot of guys, we fighting over time. Why don't we split the camp? On Saturdays, why don't we have a 44th Street camp and a 34th Street camp? And he said, yeah, we'll do that. Had a little meeting, split the camp up. Because on Saturdays, they didn't go out to 44th. They went out to 34th, and on Sundays, they went out to 44th, or Times Square. And then from there, that opened up into other camps. The first Brooklyn camp, it was me and Lahab that set up the first Brooklyn camp. Then High Priest Ariala came in, and that thing got big. And then, Barak was a part of the camp, Yashawan, and Gazak was the head of the camp. And then we moved on to other camps. So the Spirit got on me to open up these multiple camps. Because back in the day, when I was a kid, man, there was about 50 brothers. They were all 10,000. That was the highest rank you can get. And there's a story behind the generals. There's a story behind it. It involves myself and High Priest Ariala. The highest rank you can get is the officer 10,000, no higher than that. So I'll tell you that story another time. But I remember there was be about 50 brothers. They were all top ranking guys, and they would argue over time. They didn't have the courage and the backbone to say, well, let's break these camps up. The Most High got on me to do that. So let me read this. Okay, from the foundation of earth, but now once in the end of the world. When did the end of the world start? And I believe this word, let me do this. Let's see what the Hebrew word or the Greek word is. Okay, eon, end of the age. Let me do this. Come down here. Right, it shall come to pass at the end of 70 years that Yahweh will visit Tyre and shall turn to her higher and shall commit fornication with all the kingdoms of the world and the face of the earth. So that was the ancient kingdom, which Tyre is another word for modern kingdom, America, Assyria. Depending on when you come across the word Assyria in the scriptures, they'll be talking about America. Egypt, talking about America. Sodom and Egypt, talking about America, or this system. Tyrus, Nineveh, modern America, modern Nineveh is America. It's a system. So sometimes when you read these scriptures, it's talking about the actual ancient place, but sometimes it's talking about twofold. When you go to Nahum 3, that was talking about Nineveh, but it's actually referring, we apply that now to America with the gates, the gates being smitten and all that. They have become women. That's these, look, when they set up a draft, you're going to see how much protest there's going to be of people that's not going to want to fight in that war. That's why they're talking about drafting women. They've been saying that for years. Matthew 24, verse 14, I'm almost finished, bear with me. For this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world. Let's see what the word world means. For a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. Let's look up this word world. Then I'm going to close. This gospel shall be, that's why you got to go into those root words. Just get a deeper understanding. I knew the word wasn't going to be eon or ion, or time of rulership. It says the end of the world is talking about the other side of the planet Earth. So this word went out as a network anywhere on the planet Earth. Oikomeni. What does oikomeni mean? Oikomeni is also in Revelation 3, verse 10, where it's the great hour of testing, or other translations said the great time of testing. The great time of testing is talking about the charagma, the MOTB, so you can understand. And like I said earlier in this video, a lot of you different groups that have been teaching against the MOTB, you're going to have to do a lot of explaining to your followers, man, because they're going to bug the hell out. They're going to bug out. They're going to get shook up. The inhabitants of the earth, meaning the whole planet Earth, the universe, the world, the inhabitants of the earth, men, the whole inhabited earth. The Roman, this is not the Roman Empire, because that's not the whole inhabited earth. Even though the scriptures speak about the Roman Empire and the Greeks taking over the earth. They didn't take over, they just took over part of earth. So oikomeni means the whole inhabited earth, the inhabitants of earth. That's what it means. This gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the what? All the world, the whole planet Earth. Through what? Through the internet. YouTube, mainly YouTube. This thing became global with YouTube for a witness unto all nations, meaning Esau knows about it, Jake knows about it, and other nations know about it. And then shall the what? The end come. So has this thing been preached throughout the whole planet Earth? You got damn right. Starting in 2006, 2007, up until now. We've been doing this thing on YouTube for going on 16 years. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.